This is Ethan Brown, and I'm giving my Milestone 2 presentation for my project Shackled Souls. And I'm going to break up this presentation into four parts here. One, what is Shackled Souls? Two, what did I want finished at this point in the semester? Three, where am I at now at this point in the semester? And the final point, where do I think I can be at by the end of the semester? So to touch on the first point, I'm going to bring up the slides from my project pitch at the beginning of the semester here, and I'm gonna read off the Razor statement. So Shackled Souls is an intense fight for survival in an evolving environment where every second counts. And to tell you what I did want finished already, it'd be better to just go ahead and look at the pillar statements. So I'm gonna look at the pillar statements here to show you kind of what I wanted already in the game by this point. Time is crucial. So in Shackled Souls, time is of the essence. Your life force is constantly ticking down, and by this point in the semester, that should be apparent. Time is crucial to the player to get through the game. You evolve to become stronger. By this point in the semester, I would have liked to have the fundamentals of the evolution system for my game implemented. And as we get into the next point, I can show you how far along in that I've gotten to. And you should be able to express your playstyle. Now for this one, I don't necessarily think I should have already had this in the game yet. And the reason for that is one of the big reasons why you should be able to express your playstyle is because you'll get your choice in character that has a different style to how they're played. And at this point in the semester, all I really wanted was the basic game loop for the game, Shackled Souls. Now, to have a basic game loop, I don't need multiple characters, so I kind of focused on the minimum viable product there. I just focused on one character, so expressing your playstyle, I can already say now, isn't going to be very prominent for me at this point in the semester, but I do plan to have that in the final product at the end of next semester. And the final pillar statement here is that there will be divergent environments. And for this one, whenever I show it off, you're going to see it's kind of half and half on this. I kind of do have divergent environments, but at the same time I don't. So I have procedural generation, so technically every dungeon that's generated will be different from the last, but I don't have very many prefabs in the game, so the dungeon generates from a set of room prefabs that I've made, and I don't really have very many of those. So on each dungeon that you generate, or each dungeon that you go through, it's going to feel kind of samey, but it won't be the same dungeon because you're going off those same few prefabs for every stage. So as I get more prefabs in the game, this pillar statement will become more true. Divergent environments will become more of a factor in that as I start adding more prefabs into the game. So this one's kind of like a half and half where I'm at. I'm gonna switch back over here to Unity, and I'm gonna show you guys where I'm at. I will say I have the game loop completed. I got that finished before Shawnee Game Conference, so I could have something for people to test and play. And I'll talk about where I'm at now and kind of compare that to where I wanted to be. So for where I wanted to be in my original project pitch, I will say that, hold on a second, let me set the player to have higher stats. That way it's a little bit easier to show off the game here. Give him a little bit more speed and give him more range. This one's the important one. Just give him like 8 range. There we go. So I wanted way more enemies in the game. Right now I just kind of have these really basic slimes. They're not really interactive at all. They just kind of mindlessly wander around. But for the sake of showing off the evolution system, I think it's good. You can see in the top left, I got the evolution system there. Uh, that's just each elemental type and the level they correspond to. And as you kill a slime of that element, it levels up that element. And then whenever your elements level up, you get additional stats. I also have a very generic form of abilities in the game right now. So what I mean by that is that the logic for the abilities are there. It's just not very flashy. It's not very polished, which is fine because next semester is whenever all the polishing will happen, or most of the polishing will happen. So you can see down there at the bottom, I have the ability cooldowns, and I have them doing different things. Like for the dash ability, whenever you dash, it deals double damage on your next attack. Whenever you use the other two, they give you pretty much just buffs for now, like attack speed, and the spacebar one stops your life drain for a little while. So as far as getting the game loop down, I'm pretty much exactly where I want to be. But as far as the enemies that I have and the stages, I only have one boss, which is just a bigger slime. So as far as enemies go, and I'll show off that right now actually. I'll go ahead and go to scene and I'll just drag the player into the boss room so you guys can see that. It's over here. And the boss health bar isn't all the way down. And there's little bugs here and there to fix, obviously. So I got the boss here, and you know he's not really all that interactive either. I mean he's an okay, just starter stage boss, but and there's the in-game screen that I had for Shawnee Game Conference. So for where I'm at right now, I like where I am. Just wish I had more time for enemies. Really, the main thing that prevented me from having more enemies in the game right now is a lack of art, lack of assets to put on the enemies. I guess I could technically design the AI and then just use the slimes for now. But I would like to go ahead and have some art to go off of. That would help me be a little bit more creative as far as that goes. So by the time the end of the semester hits, there's not really much more time left. There's only a couple weeks. I would like to brush up on a lot of things. There's some cleanliness in my code I have to fix. There's some systems in there I have to fix, like buffs. There's buffs and debuff. There's a buff and a debuff manager that I would like to implement that would make it easier for me to do certain abilities that I have planned out. And by the very end of the semester, I'd like to have in more enemies than just the generic slime enemies, and I would like to have it loop to a new stage upon killing the boss instead of just showing the thanks for playing message that I had set up for Shawnee Game Conference, which that part shouldn't take too long to do. But mainly for the last little bit of the semester here, I'm going to focus on just getting in some extra enemies, and that way, uh, that way there's a little bit more interactiveness with the game. It's not all mindless slimes just running around everywhere. So, uh, that's pretty much all I had for this presentation. Thanks for your time and thanks for watching.